Welcome to the Palladium here in Champery, Switzerland. We're here with the curling masters from Champery World Curling Tour coverage, and we're into quarterfinal action. Saturday evening, Team Marburg, Team Pfister is our feature game. Johannes Patz, Vincent Stenberg, Frederick Niemann, Patrick Malbergs on the Swedish team. Pfister, we have Simon Gempler, Rafael Marchi, Enrico Pfister, and Mark Pfister for the Swiss. We're down to the final 8, 24 teams. Started out on Thursday afternoon, and we're down to the final 8. And here we see how they finished up in the ranking. And Brewster, Edin, Malbergs, Drummond, Moet, Mr. Staley, and Van Dorp. And we're playing 1 against 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. And we'll show you the playoff grouping coming up. And here we are. And we have picked Marburg Pfister as our feature game. And they will take on whoever wins between the number 1 seed Edin and Team Staley from Switzerland. My name is Armin Harder, and I'm here this evening with Brad Askew. Hello, Brad.
Hi, Armin. Good to be here.
Thanks for joining us. Brad is the national coach for the Czech Republic, also had a team playing here. And here we see the lineup: Mark Pfister, Enrico Pfister, Rafael Marchi, and Simon Gempler. And I'll let you do the
We've
grades.
got Patrick Malbergs, we've got Frederick Niemann, we've got Vincent Stenberg, and we've got Johannes Patz.
Put you on the spot there right at the start, just seeing to make sure you're awake.
Make sure I'm paying attention.
And Simon Gempler getting underway here. Of course, Malbergs finishing higher ranked as the Hammer here in the quarterfinals. And we saw the other quarterfinals. We've got Edin Staley out there. Edin finishing in second place. Van Dorp and Brewster going at it, and Moet, Drummond. So 3 Scottish teams, 2 Swedish teams, 2 Swiss teams, and the lone Dutch team. Did I miss anybody?
No, I think that's everyone.
So, Brad?
It's off to a nice aggressive start here. Top 4 and clear, so this could be a quick first end. Teams get used to the ice.
Pfister played in Group D. And Malbergs was in Group C.
Group C, yes. Okay, hit and roll out, so that's cleared the house.
So 24 teams started this competition, and we're down to the final 8. 45,000 Swiss francs on the line. That's almost 60,000 Canadian for those viewing in Canada. 14,000 to the first prize, 9 to the second. Nice little payday if you win this thing.
Yeah, it's worth a trip to Champery.
Well, it's always worth a trip to Champery here in Port Soleil.
It's a lovely place, really nice.
So, Brad, we got lots to talk about this game too. During this game, besides covering the game, you can tell us a little bit later on about how your competition went with your team. Of course, the big and most interesting part, besides this, the competition for the first prize here and all-important World Tour points, is also 7 of the 8 teams preparing for the Olympic qualifier event, which is going to take place in the Czech Republic coming up later in December. You can Tell us as much as you know later on about that also.
Yeah, we've got 7 of the 8 here. China's the only one missing.
Yeah, which is that's pretty good actually. And not to mention a lot of European Championship qualifiers here this week. And Olympic qualifiers direct, I guess. Edine, anybody else?
No, Scots aren't here. No, I think they're the only direct qualifiers.
Only direct qualifier present playing. So there's 8 that are already qualified. Pretty wide open end so far.
Yeah, the teams are just testing out the ice here before they take on anything too aggressive.
So I know the Pfister team very well. I haven't seen too much of this.
I know the Marburg's team a little bit better. I've known Patrick since he came up through juniors. And in fact, Johannes, their lead, was in Prague just a couple of weeks ago for the Kolibers Cup. He subbed in on another Swedish team.
Okay. Here we see Rafi Maki. Well, I know the Pfister team quite well, so this will work out just fine.
Okay, the teams are just testing out the ice here, having a look to see how fast they're playing, how much the ice is going to swing. Stones moving around from the center to the side, so this will give them a good idea how the ice is moving. Ice has been a little bit challenging this weekend. It's a little bit frosty on the sheets. There's a bit of humidity in the air. So the teams will be looking to see how the different parts of the ice are playing.
Of course, during the round robin play, the scrapes are happening every second game. Now that we're into playoffs, the scrapes are happening every game. So the conditions should be a little more consistent. I believe frost should probably not be a big factor anymore during the playoff games.
Yeah, no, this will help with the scrapes happening every sessions. Teams will still be just testing out here. This is going to be a pretty quick end. Teams are just getting their hitting weights and swing down. They'll probably be needing a lot of those later in the game. It's another one a little wide and rolls out, so Sweden will get the choice of where they want to play. They're going to play off to the side and hope for a miss. The Swedes were joking before the game that they were going to play in English, so it would help us out up here, but they've forgotten that already by stone 6. They're straight back to Swedish.
A big surprise. It's hard to speak in a foreign language now, isn't it?
Well, funny, we were talking about this earlier up on the bench. So many teams switch to English when they're calling. You hear them talking and chatting in their own language, then when it comes to calling the hurry hard, go hard.
We even hear the Chinese and the Russians doing that, don't we?
Certainly, yep. So we've seen how the center of the sheet's playing, we've seen how the right sheet's playing, now we're seeing how the left sheet's playing. For those of you watching at home, this is Vincent Stenberg, who's sweeping at the moment. Don't be fooled by the name on his back. He's borrowed a shirt, so if you think we're not paying attention and we're calling the wrong name, it's not our fault, it's his.
These poor curlers.
I know, honestly.
Okay.
As he's put his now he's fooled us again. His shirt says Pats, but his jacket says Stenberg. So keep up.
I don't imagine that jacket's going to be on too long.
It won't be. It's cold on the bench, but it's pretty warm when you get sweeping. The organizers have thoughtfully made sure that the coaches have got nice blankets to roll up, so if you see jackets above the waist, and if you could see below the coach's bench, everybody's wrapped up nicely in blankets to stay warm.
Ja. Oh! Yep! Oh, goed.
Little hit and roll there.
Zo hoog. Is gemeente even sprut?
No.
So this is heading quickly for a blank end, and thus there's a miss.
Gärna förra var normal. Ja. Rent. Ja. Ja. Rent. Ja. Håll i lite bara. Bra. Ja, flip positive.
Her, en er zo gelijk uitgegaan.
Ja.
Okay, Switzerland are going to want to hit this and keep a stone in play, because they'll hope that Sweden will come down, try to clear it and jam. Lose the hammer with only 1 point on the board. So Switzerland don't want to hit and roll out with this, because it will allow Sweden to just throw the last stone away and maintain the hammer.
Yep.
Mark Pfister with his last rock here in the first end.
Oh, yep. Whoa. Botte. Whoa. Botte. Oh.
Okay, so Sweden now want to pick this out.
Det är jättemycket curve.
We have a look at Tommy Litz, who's
Ja.
coaching the Swiss teams, national coach. Last year, still with the Germans. Tommy, of course, being Swiss,
Nej.
happy to be at home coaching his own countrymen. Oh, he missed it.
The sweepers were back off that, hoping it would swing. That's a big miss, so
So steal a one for the Swiss team here in the first end, and that gives them a 1-0 lead here at the Champery Masters from Champery, Switzerland.
that's a hard one to take, because you've been hitting through the whole end. You think you know how everything's swinging, and then you pop that one straight past and leave one on the board. The other thing is, if you over curl and nose it and get stuck with one yourself. So they won't be happy with that, but it's only one.
Doesn't do much for your self-confidence
No.
either, I would think.
No, and you throw the big weight at it. You just have to touch the stone at that weight. So it's frustrating when it doesn't.
Yeah, we're beginning the second end.
Voor de
Of
vier.
course,
Goed shot.
Pfister taking a point there. We'll start the second end. And Simon Genfler sets his rock into motion.
Ja. Länge schauen. Ja. Ganze 4 Fuß, wäre gut. Oh. Sehr schön, gut Gusch.
Top four, so we're looking to put a guard.
Tia.
So, ouch. Sorry.
That even hurt me. What did you do?
I went to adjust the mic and accidentally hit it with my ring.
Gärna linje.
Put the big bling on there.
Yeah.
Lite tight.
So this is going to be a more aggressive end. Sweden are putting up a corner guard. They're going to take this on
Nej,
now.
nu är rätt bra. Håll rent i alla fall.
So I've got no head-to-head record between these two teams, so that's interesting.
Ja.
I guess they haven't faced each other in past competitions.
Ja.
Of course, Malberg team being very young.
Yeah, this. I just generally, I would say this season Pfister's been slightly more successful. So they tend to have made a few playoffs, and Marburgs has just been playing below that. So this is a good result for them this weekend.
Deine ist
Yes,
gut.
first
Nochmal länger reingewend. Oh, dann nichts machen. Achtung, besser. Reingewend. Achtung. Nein, Trillo. Yep. Ja.
Okay, they want to line this stone up.
Sehr schön.
You know, they didn't qualify or any of their past events this season.
They're a team that we see at the events. They just this is a really good finish for them this weekend. They're usually just below the playoffs.
Linje upp! Japp! Linje upp! Japp! 8. Japp! Lite kort! Hård! Hård!
So they're going to bring this stone down and try to get a freeze on the stone on the top 4. Nope, just caught a little bit too light.
Bra fart, Johannes. Bra.
Okay, so Switzerland are now going to try to hit and roll in. Here you see the stone coming down. They're working it hard, but it's just going to overcurl. Just a bit too light to get by that guard. Okay, so we're looking for a little hit and roll underneath here.
Nu naar hulp. Oh,
Oh, a bad miss.
Ja, ja.
Ends up taking out his own. This team represented Switzerland in Halifax at the World Championships. Minus Simon Gempler, who played with another team.
I'm not sure if he was inside with that, or it was a little bit lighter than they were asking for.
Well, with that with the big scrape here, it might be curling a little more than what they've found in the last game. Maybe they just under ice that.
Ska de utsläppa? Ja, bra fart! Med linje! Håll igång, Johannes! Gå, 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 gå. Helst inte! Hårt!
Helst inte! Helst inte!
Gå! Måste släppa direkt efter.
Trying to come down here. Again, another stone catching the guard. I think there's a bit more swing than they're anticipating here. As you say, a fresh scrape has really brought the ice to life.
Tani. Kom nu in, Trillo.
It's also cooled down a little bit more outside. It's not as hot as it was a day or so
Er is een
ago.
bisschen spitze Winkel, je moet op het rit doen.
Certainly helped the conditions in here.
Kom nu in. Doe je nog maar zo. Nu niet.
They were just checking to see if there was a chance of coming off underneath that top yellow stone, but there isn't, so I think they're going to roll over to the red. A little more weight coming down with this one.
They'll be trying the double.
Champery.
No, straight nose hit. Malberg's Red Rocks have the hammer in this end.
Don't think that one was a biter. It's hard to see because the camera's right over the center of the sheet, so it's an optical illusion whether it's actually on the rings or not.
Kanske kan få lite neråt också, men
yeah, it looks like it
helst
is.
bara sitta här.
Looks like a biter, yeah.
Yep.
Clearing.
From this angle it looks off, but actually as the camera passed by it looked like it was just biting. I'm guessing it won't be in about 30 seconds.
He's taking that. If he's taking that one first, I would think, because I hope so, because he's going after the other one. He may just jam it on his own.
He's coming on an out turn on this one. Big weight.
Big curl there earlier. Gets on the inside of it, or the outside of it. So, I don't know, I think they're probably under-icing themselves at the moment.
Dat moet 5 zijn. Hinger 4. We zijn met haar, nee, is niet goed zo altijd.
Pfister been in the finals a couple of times here in Champery in the last years. Always does well up here.
Yeah, it's interesting how some teams seem to really settle into some ice conditions in some events. There's events that you think you're going to go, and you know each year you have a really good run. Pfister, say, has had a really good record at this event.
I think you get your favorites, you feel comfortable or whatever.
Hinder 4, hinder. Hinder, zeker. Oh, afsluiten.
This one's a little warm.
Yeah.
Dat is goed,
It's got
sorry.
legs.
Tip top.
Goed.
Second shot at the back of the house.
Ja, maar nog vast. Mer inne på att få in den på i så fall. Alltså,
So what's he looking at here now?
vad jag menar på där då. Bara chappa! Ja, dubbla dem. Okej, ja.
This is a challenging
Lite,
shot.
lite
He's looking
utsida
for
bara.
a run back
Ja,
double.
det är bra.
And if he can
Chappen
keep his
funkar nog.
shooter
Spela
there, he's
plus.
sitting two.
Från kören då.
They haven't quite
Så inte
got the
kommer
line and weight
jättemycket, men det är
right
lite
yet this
kvar då.
end, so this is going to be a challenging
Räcker
shot, but
det
a
här,
great
eller?
one if he makes it.
Typ ta lite till. Ja, lite mer då. Ja. Ja.
Frederick Neiman eyeing this up.
Ja, ja, ja.
Okay, sweepers are on it already.
Hål! Ja, ja.
Well, he makes
Great
it.
shot.
Really nice. Yep.
Great shot.
Does leave a double, but it's a pretty good shot there.
Yellows were starting to build up in the rings, so they'll be glad to see the back of those. Yeah, well held by the sweepers. Great, perfect angle.
So, Rico Pfister will be trying the same. Oh, he didn't get it.
Little bit oh, look, what a roll.
Yeah.
What a roll. Under a staggered front two stones.
And we can see here that's pretty well fully covered.
Man ser inte vinklarna så bra. Men det känns som om vi drar på en till att de kan skicka den ytter då. Men inte nu, men jag vet inte hur det ligger.
There's a really nice finish on this ice.
Okay.
Even if the stones are in the front of the house, you can get fully buried underneath. So
Ligger du här kan de skicka. Ja, men
all the
vart
options
ligger
are here,
våran
whether
parti
they
eller?
want to freeze on top of it.
Ja, typ
Ja,
precis
dra ut
så
den på
affär.
kant. Dra in på kanten eller är det runt?
Ja, vi kan, alltså, vi lär ju in en pottfot.
Ja. Ja, jag gillar rundningen också, den är bra.
Vad sa du?
Rundningen är bra liksom.
Jag gillar den här också.
Om vi är lite kort, är vi lite breda så vi släpper den kort bara så har de inte dubbeln ändå va? Nej.
Somewhere in there was double.
Well, it certainly doesn't want to be too wide, but I think with the curl and the finish here, that should be able to get to the top of the red one.
With the stones sitting as they are at the front, he could actually get to the inside of that. There's going to be a big finish after this gets past those two yellows.
Inte supermycket. Men...
Linje!
Linje, 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 linje!
Yeah,
Wow!
there's
Linje!
on and off.
Ja,
He's sweeping
linje!
for line,
Hål!
calling for line. It's moving now.
Wow! Wow! Ingenting.
Just got to get by, and there's a big finish here.
Ja.
Nice shot.
Really good.
Yeah, nice shot. So it leaves an edge of the top red, but if Switzerland go after it, it would go over, probably go over the top. They can play a nice tap weight here if they want to move that back. They're having a look.
Probieren Backline da hier drauf zu tappen. Und sonst hängt ich hier und auf.
Ja, dass der hier hinten steht,
Ja.
sind wir vielleicht sogar 6.
Ja, genau.
You see
Backline.
Simon Gempler, the lead in the house for Team Pfister.
Gut, da ist sogar Hacklänge gekommen.
Ja.
So. Ist das gut? Ein bisschen weniger. Weißt du, was sicher am Vorderen hängt?
Ja. Du musst schon knapp dabei.
Ich weiß es nicht. Woher? Ich kläre einfach raus weg.
Okay, so they're looking at come around
Backline,
the other side.
Hacklänge.
They'll have to be ready with this one for sweep for Wade and line because we've been playing down the other way with that last shot.
Viel Platz ist da dazwischen.
He's coming down to have another look.
Ich sehe den Rot. Ein Viertel.
Probably looked a little bit different from the hack than it does
Das ist Overset.
from the house.
Höchstens dass der rausgeht. Das kannst du aber sonst. Das geht nicht.
He's trying to raise that second yellow one onto the red, but I don't know if that's there.
I think it's going to go. If anything, it might touch the top of the red and push it back. But I think the angle's pretty steep.
I think he's just as soon move those yellows around a bit so he maybe has something with his last rock.
I think that's what he came down to have a look. Sitting in the hack, I think he realised he could see less of it than he thought he could. You'd have to be pretty thin on that guard, which is going to be tough if the ice is swinging. Okay, sweepers are on and off it. That's always a good sign. That means it's really, really close.
It turned out pretty good.
It's not too bad. He moved them back. He got very close to that guard, which is what they needed to do. Any wider and it would have come across the top, or either just maybe even move the red back a little bit. But he's got them both behind the tee line now. We're back at the tee
Det är
line.
okej att gå den där också, alltså ner så. Jag ser gärna hellre att du gör den.
Ja, absolut. Absolut, den åker ner här, men åker ner hit är okej.
So we had after the round robin play, we had 8 teams qualified for 3 spots, or tied for 3 spots. The top 5 going through with at least a 4-win record.
Han har ju den här också.
And then from about the 6th place, not tied for 6th place, 8 teams
Kan ju spela mjuk också, bara knuffa ut den.
coming down to
Om han skulle vilja dra den hit.
the draw shot.
En dubbel på den sen. Spelar normalt tror jag.
I think it's great the way the game's developed over the last couple of years at this draw shot. It's a test of skill to take your team through to the playoffs. More and more important, the draw shot determines the hammer and determines your final ranking. So it's something that they really need to focus on.
Normal. Vicka in och peta ut den lite.
Går det fortfarande lite tungt eller?
So just for an idea, Pfister, who was the first team to place with a draw shot, ended up with a 7.6. And Staley 14, Fandorp with 18. And there was no team over 100.
Yep. And again, we're talking about centimeters here, make the difference between making the playoffs and going home early.
So teams are practicing those draw shots, I think.
They certainly are. It's such an important part of the game now, and I like it. It's down to a challenge, it's down to skill, and it's a team shot. One plays, 2 sweep, 1 calls the line, so it's a team effort.
Jag tänker så. Mitt i 12 så det kör längre.
Usually tie breaks obviously aren't an option for these weekend tournaments.
Kan ha fri så är det gott.
Take way too much time. Then we have penalty shooting in other sports also, football and hockey. So he's trying to draw down to the one on the back of the button here. Freeze down to that one.
They can see half of that, so this should be a pretty straightforward shot. Just depends on what angle he gets on that back stone.
4 lines. Så vi sagt det. Alltså måste dra. Och så är mindestens 4 och 4.
It's exciting at the Worlds when the teams are playing the draw shot because often it's up on the big screen and the crowd are watching and it beginning when you play the draw for hammer. Teams, the crowd can follow the stone down and they can see from the camera above how close each team gets. It's becoming an exciting part of the game.
It's amazing how consistent these teams are too, getting this close to the pin.
Yep, yep. Whoa, yep, whoa, yep, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're fighting hard on this one. This looks light. They got it past. Ooh, just a little rub. Still got. Yeah, still. He was lucky with the result on that one.
Yeah,
the
just
rub.
rubbed it ever so slightly.
Now you know why the teams are down to bare arms. Sweeping like that.
Boy, the skips have no voice left
Yep.
at the end of the week. Just barely rubbed that, as you can see, and it just kept going. The weight was perfect. Of course,
And again, the ice and the stones are quite aggressive. They've got a nice swing to finish. So even though that rubbed, it still managed to pull itself back under.
I'm not sure if he has much of a shot here. Try to thin that yellow and maybe drive it over.
Finns ingen risk, men vi får
Don't know if you can see enough of it.
stämmer de två liksom.
He probably can,
Ja,
but
det
it's
är del
really
två,
going
den
to
här
have
är
to
mycket
be
den här
good.
lättare.
More.
If hits it just perfect, he might make 3 out of
Då
it.
ska ju
But
smita. Det är ganska tight
that's
alltså.
a really tough shot.
If he's
Jag tror att
wide,
den här
it'll
nog är
catch
lättare på
the
ett
stone
på.
on the top. He's wide, he'll catch this, but he's going to move
Fjärdedel.
it. Yeah, he's looking here. He's going to throw a big weight at this.
Inte
Trying to
lite mer.
catch it really thin.
Jag lastar på ganska mycket så den kommer backa
I saw it
hela
really
vägen
thick.
nästan. Ja.
If it goes wrong, he might give up too, though.
Well, this
En
is
fjärdedels träff på den här gula.
risky, but early in the game, he's
Det
going to
är
have to take this
lite
big
tunnare än
chance.
fjärdedel.
This will be interesting.
There's no other way at that back stone. The only other option he's got is a tap for one. Come down the other side and try to move that back to outscore him.
Last rock here for Malbergs in the second end. Looking to
Ja. Oh,
possibly score a couple of points.
Yeah,
He gets across the top of it.
really thin.
Yeah.
It's another steal for Pfister.
That steal puts Pfister up 2-0 after 2 ends of play. Here at the Champery Masters, we're curling tour action.
Aber natürlich, gell, Trillo los trifft wäre auch falsch schlimmer. Darum ist auch reingekommen. Ja.
Håll ugnen bara så.
Var lugn och man kom upp på banan och spela lite.
Ja.
Okay, Team Malbergs are going to have to get something going here now. That's 2 ends away and 2 steals.
That was an interesting end. We saw lots of rocks in play, so we're just hoping for more. So 7 teams here that will be playing in Pilsen at the Olympic qualifier event. The only team, as we said earlier, missing is China, who probably would be estimated as one of the favorites going into that competition. Last 2 spots available for the Olympic Games.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting event. The men's event is pretty even. I think this is going to be one of these weeks where it's down to good luck, curling, pulling everything together you need for that 1 week. Because going through the season, various CCTs, people have finished above each other, below each other, head to head. So it's really an open week.
And I think it's pretty important for many of the countries for funding and things like that too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Unfortunately.
It's a challenge for a number of countries. We've got there's always discussions being held because you've got the Europeans just before. Do you want to send a team? You're basically talking a month. You've got the trip to the Europeans, you've got the Europeans, and you've got the week in between, then you've got the Olympic qualifier, so you're on the ice for a solid month. Some countries elect not to have the same team play both events. Some countries elect, like the Czech Republic, we've got the same team playing both, using the Europeans as our final prep event for Olympic qualifier.
It's easy for you being
down the road.
down the road.
Yeah. We don't even have to change currency. We
No.
just jump in a car and off we go. Pilsen's less than an hour away from Prague.
So just to go quickly through the team list here, and we said China, obviously. So we have the Czech Republic, your team, and that'll be Jiří
Schniedl.
Yeah. Denmark will be Tommy Sterne, who's playing here. Finland will be Kausta. Germany will be Baumann. Italy will be Retina. Netherlands will be Van Dorp, also qualified. And with the Russians, their national team in whatever combination they decide to show up with.
Armin, we had an interesting weekend this weekend because 4 of those teams were in our section, so we had our own
right?
little mini Olympic qualifier.
We did that on purpose. Just to
when the draw came out, we thought, oh, it's the OQE plus a few.
It's funny that just happened to be a coincidence because this draw was put together. I can say that with a clear conscience. This draw was put together purely by ranking on the World Tour. So
We play these teams quite often, so whether they're in the same section or we meet them in the playoffs, we're pretty used to seeing the same faces.
And you were satisfied with your performance against them? Any secrets you want to tell us?
No, we had a good first game, good last game, and we struggled a little bit in the middle. Didn't quite go our way. Got very, very close. We were 1 stone away that we missed against the Dutch. So, yeah, we've learned a lot. We've taken a lot away from this weekend. It's about this whole season, not just about these weekends in an Olympic year.
Right.
As long as everything moves toward that big event, we're happy.
So you would place China back into the group, or would you take China as being probably the favorite?
The ladies' side, certainly China is very strong. They played in Basel.
You're coaching, of course. You're a national coach. You're responsible for both men's and women's.
Oh, sorry
Just
for
to
the
add
Czech
that,
ladies.
yeah.
Sorry, for both the men's and ladies' team. We've got Anna Koberskova, who's back in the Czech Republic this weekend, playing the first of the Czech national playdowns weekends.
Vänta. Lite hård. Wow. Wow. Japp. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Vilken? Japp. Japp. Hård.
Going for a little roll here.
Nice roll. Huh?
Yeah, the guards are ways off the rings, and with this big swingy ice, that does help. Yeah.
So Mark Pfister's team, they're ranked 34th on the world ranking. And Mauberg's not that far behind. He's 46th, so that's pretty good overall. But those cumulative points over years.
Nice shot. Oh, move that yellow. Nice shot. Clear the front up.
Ralphie Markey. Gardner by
There we go.
did leave a bit of a guard up there for
Yeah,
Mauberg's now to utilize.
that's a tough when you choose the run back, because you've got to also consider where the shooter stone is going to go.
Linje. Håll igång.
Okay, they're working hard on this one.
Hela vägen. Hård.
Working really hard on this one. It's swinging now.
Hård.
Fighting to keep it off. Oh, good sweep.
Got to get off it, or it's going to come out the other side.
Yeah, that's the problem. And that's the thing with the ice that's swinging. If you're having to sweep it hard to get it past the guard, you're also giving it distance, which means it's often the choice of hitting the guard or coming out the other side.
So and it's only second shot. Didn't needs it to be maybe a touch deeper. Another run back here for Enrico Pfister, Mark's younger brother.
Okay, they'll be glad to see the back of that guard. Rolled the stone right to the side, so it opens the front of the house.
Är frysen dålig eller?
Gives Sweden nowhere to hide.
Hake eller? Ja. Ja, också 0-3 ja. Ja. Jättemycket, försiktigt. Väldigt, nej, den är längre. Wow.
Some things take no interpretation.
Det är mycket liv i den, kommer glida jättelångt.
Den här linjen ska den till. Japp. Kör.
Ja.
Go.
Räcker.
Bra liv.
Siehst du, das 3-4 etwa?
They're choosing to run this back. They must be able to see half the stone. The problem is hitting it on the outside. You're going to roll yourself open.
I think this run could roll over to their own. Came across the top of it.
Just caught it.
Now it's shot.
Again, cleared the front.
Ja, gang so wenig. Wie won't dat zien? Het dieren van de happen, dat is rustig. Met de angst. Als rausgeht, dan ganz am Schluss wird ein bisschen dörrlich.
Ta utsidan liksom. Ja, bestäm dig men. Ja. 10 då. Vad hade jag förra?
It's always this big choice at this point in the end. Do you want to guard that one up? Do you want to do something with the yellow? Maybe take it and roll to the wing. That red stone in the center is not quite wide enough to split the house. So you do, if you don't get the second stone position right, you leave an option of a double, clear the house.
Vänta om vi kan.
He's opted for the guard here.
Putting it back and hoping for a miss.
Ja, hårt! Hela vägen!
The line really important on this.
Hårt! Hela vägen, kom igen!
Pretty good.
It's quite long on this
It might be
swingy ice.
open on the outside, on the out turn. Yep.
Yeah. Nice back ring weight. You can come and get that right on the nose. Don't even have to know that the guard is there.
Så snänder hier geleerd.
Was macht wenn wir auftun?
Kan nog inte så mycket som vi tror. Båda var
That guard, it's always tricky with this because if you pull the guard tight to the rings, you leave a run back. And if you leave the guard longer, you leave it come around with
Probieren
control
wir
weight.
hier beide zu nehmen, aber sicher,
We certainly
sicher auf
seen
dieser
that
Seite.
yesterday with one of the games we did with Nicholas Dean. Those guys
Oh,
are
das schon, aber...
Wel wat
really
hier
good at
raus,
those
så här
shots.
paar clips und dann irgendwie hier halb versteckt hin.
Ja, ich komme schon so schnell, dass ich da hier nicht
Yeah,
überlege.
Team Dean really changed up the
So,
game. They really
clearing.
took on
Schon,
these
komm auf,
run backs and challenged other teams, and it's now
Aber,
a standard shot
Probieren, wenn
that
du
you
es
need to
siehst.
be
Ja,
able
aber
to
der
play.
Winkel ist ja nicht so.
number one seeded team at this
Lass ihn
event.
noch auftun.
Ranked second on the world ranking right now. And they're playing against the young Swiss team, Stähli.
Okay, so they're going after this guard again. It's an interesting angle with the camera. It makes the rink look a lot shorter than it actually is. That's a big distance when you're sitting in the hack and looking way down there. At some point they're looking to come into the house now because they've got to get something set up. They're running out of stones.
Seem to be
Gillar den eller?
indicating some sort of corner freeze,
Yeah.
Garden går ju
possibly.
dit med över 2, men det är lättare att få nolla här.
Be the best way
Han
to
var ju här
protect
nere
against the
okej.
double,
Ja.
maybe.
Jo, det är okej. Okej, jämsides. Ja, inte mindre kör här eller?
Yeah, if they freeze right on the shoulder of that stone, there's no
I'm a
double
high
because
leaner,
it would
so.
jam and leave at least one.
Lite till nu.
If they were to take it out, of course, those rocks would
Topp
be too
top
close
4 är den.
together. Double possibility
Topp
would be
4.
there.
It's a tricky shot after a whole end of hitting. They've been playing guards, so they're not quite sure what that T-line weight is going to be. So there's one for the sweepers to take care of.
Bra linje. Håll igång. Ja, ligga 8-4. Var med. Ja, linje! Bra då. Ja. Oh.
They don't want to bounce. They don't see that's. They really wanted to freeze that on there because any little bounce, any little space between the stones gives options. So you really want to lock that on.
Not a bad shot, though.
It's not bad, it was pretty close.
Yeah, obviously he's going to hit the one in the forefoot first to try to come off. Jam it across the top of it.
Again, this was another one where they were sweeping for angle, and you sacrifice distance for that.
So after 3 ends of play, a quick update. Edin takes a 2-0 lead over Staley after 3 ends of play.
3-4.
Mort Drummond, it's an interesting game. Two Scottish teams going against each other there. Oh, 1-0. Oh, correction, just put up the third end. And it was looks like a 2 for Drummond, so 2-1 after 3 ends for Drummond. And 2-1 for Brewster over Van Dorp after 3 ends of play. So all pretty close.
This one's coming down at big speed.
Oh, look at that.
Great shot. They're happy with that.
2-3.
2-3.
Locker klein.
Sweeper's got a break there. Coming down at that speed, there's very little you can do.
Dat is het zo'n oogst gemaakt. Nou, een seconde snel is dat zo.
Pfister happy about that, the heavy equipment operator. So last rock here in the third for Malbergs. Is he trying the double or the nose hit? Just the nose. The double kind of will do it too. So forced to take one here in the third, and that means Pfister leads 2-1 after 3 ends of play and gets the hammer back in the fourth.
That was a great final shot by the Swiss because there was no options for Sweden but to take their one. Great force, great play.
We're here with World Curling Tour Champery Masters. The Palladium in Champery. Here high up in the mountains of the Swiss Alps. The Matterhorn not too far away. Have you seen that yet, Brad?
I have seen the Matterhorn, and I actually didn't realize. I saw it not when I was visiting Champery, and I didn't realize it was so close to here. I was happened to be looking on the maps, checking to see my train route coming from Geneva, and I spotted the Matterhorn not far from here.
I'm very embarrassed. I'm 21 years in Switzerland and still haven't seen the Matterhorn. You're a Canadian Scottish resident? or
Canadian by birth, but 30 years in the UK.
Okay.
16 in London and Scotland before I did some coaching in China, now in the Czech Republic.
All right. Cool.
So pretty much around the world tour.
Bra fart, nära. Haken nära.
Johannes Pats with the first stone coming down here.
Lite hög. Högre upp än så.
Just putting up the center guard.
So they're going to want this really nice and long. It's coming a little bit deep. But they're going to want to set up 2 guards here on the center line, so they must be wanting to steal and bring the game level.
So for anybody interested in coming to Pilsen to take a look at those Olympic qualifiers, what can you tell us about Pilsen and about the venue?
I've been through Pilsen. The venues have really really nice arena. It's a double hockey rink. They've got a training rink, and then they've got the rink where this event is going to be played. It's traditional, of course, a hockey rink that they are going to turn into a curling arena for the duration of this event. As I say, we're not far from Prague. It's less than an hour away. I think it's 50 some miles as the crow flies. And we'll have 7 ladies teams and 8 men's teams coming to compete for this final 2 spots at the Olympics. If you're not familiar, any teams that have been at the World Championships in the 4 years before have the right to come and play down. And even the Koreans are hosting. Obviously the Olympics are in Korea, and so Korea men's and ladies go through as hosts. We're hosting the Olympic qualifier, but unfortunately that doesn't mean that we also get to go through as hosts. We're going to have to fight our way there. But luckily we've got a men's and ladies team going. There were 8 ladies teams, but Norway now has stepped back, so it's a 2 in 7 chance for a ladies team to get the final 2 slots at the Olympics. The first 7 teams go on points earned over the previous 2 World Championships. The 8th slot is filled by the hosts, and the last 2 come out of the qualifier. This is only the second time they played the qualifier. The first one was for the Sochi Games, and that was played in Füssen in Germany. So we're the hosts of only the second ever Olympic qualification event.
I got some great TV numbers at Füssen event. I think Japan and China were both of those.
The Chinese love watching curling on TV. When Betty Wang, who's one of their national sporting heroes, won the World Championships, I heard the number 60 million TV viewers in China, which of course to the Chinese is a very small percentage, but to any other country is an impressive viewing figure.
China will have both men's and women's teams there.
And Betty Wang, who we were just talking about, will be skipping the ladies team
from Harbin.
So there'll be big publicity for that in China.
So just reiterate the women's section: Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, Germany, Italy, Latvia, and you said Norway is no longer in that.
They're not competing, so it's 7 teams.
Just news, because I didn't realize that.
Nice shot.
Yeah, very nice.
Again, you can see how fully they got buried, and that top stone's only in the 8 foot. So if you've got a long guard, it's almost like it's not there. You can really have a big finish and get buried with the stones very close together on this ice, which is nice. Good mixed doubles ice.
And just last week here, of course, the mixed championships were played on this ice. The mixed world championships, and that was a final between Scotland and Canada. And Grant Hardy, who was skipping that team, the winning Scottish team, is in action tonight with his team, Bruce Mowat, against Drummond. Greg Drummond.
Yeah, Grant's really getting a good stay in Champery. He had the world mixed, and then he stayed on, and here he is now back on the ice 5 days later.
If anybody should know the ice by now, him.
He certainly should, and I think that partially explains why they're playing top 8. This is
well, it was a solid performance what I saw from them today. Good young team. Actually, not that big.
No, there's been a big shake-up in the teams that you've probably used to seeing from Scotland. Kyle Smith was a selected team for the Olympics for Team GB, so that left the other performance players to form up new teams for this season. So you're seeing lineups on the ice that you won't have seen before.
Another nice, just rolled a little too far. Rooster looking really solid this weekend with his new team, 5-0 record. Playing against the Dutch in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, that just rolled a little further than they wanted. That gives an angle on the other side. Yeah, Sweden just want a little bump and roll on that.
Seems the Swiss are controlling this game a little bit.
Yeah, you see a lot of yellow in the house.
Swedes are running after them a bit.
There's a little separation here, so if they get this right, this would be a nice little hit and flop.
Take the pressure off a bit, that's for sure.
Sweden needs to get a stone safe, and that's not happened. Need to try to force a mistake. So this is a really important shot. He really needs to get this just on the inside. Enough weight to just flop on top of the stone that's sitting almost on the button.
Whoa! Whoa!
No, it's got to swing. This is looking like... Here it comes now. Here it
Really
comes
moving
now.
now.
They've really got to get this right. This is going to be a little bit tight and roll too... Oh, he rubbed the top one. They didn't even get a chance to be too tight and roll too far.
Yeah, that might have rolled over top of that. Right? Just touched at the end.
Again, this is really hard with this really aggressive ice. You've got to really be on top of it and read when that stone is going to break and swing.
Clearly missed the sweep on that. And here we see it again. Pretty sure it did hit, didn't it?
We had a couple of these this weekend where it looked fine, and all of a sudden it just jumped. And it's once the stone starts moving, the sweepers really struggle to hold it. If it changes direction, you can't put it back.
I think the Swedes were a little fortunate with that hit. It might have rolled away. Yeah. So Rafi Markey taking a run at the center guard, clearing that off.
So Pfister have last stone in this end. They're trying to move things around to put themselves in a good scoring position here. Sitting 1 and 3 at the moment.
Precis över lina.
We were speaking on the coaches bench this weekend that the next innovation of the game is to be coaching drones. So we coaching drones, so we can hover above the rings and have a really good look.
Be bringing my fly swatter, I think.
We actually had an interesting session in our curling rink in Prague. The national TV came in to shoot promos for the Olympic qualifier, and they were flying drones down over the players as they slid down the ice. And they did some lovely establishing shots, but unfortunately the drones pulled the warm air down from the ceiling and completely flattened the ice.
Is that right?
But it was a great experience. They got some great shots.
Okay. Yeah, well, certainly we should probably create some air movement around, wouldn't it?
Whoa. Oh, Trillo.
Some interesting angles set up here on this stack of stones that spread out down the center line, so the guard comes off.
Till guard va? Ja, jag tror nästan en till i alla fall. Ja.
They're going to want to come in and lock that in, freeze on top of that stone.
Lite mindre.
Johannes, stopp!
Ja, bra linje.
Ni vet vart den ska.
Ja, Johannes, går du.
Ja, över linan ska den!
They're calling the guard.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mistake. I just
Gå,
saw the
Johannes,
ice
gå
and
hela vägen,
looked
hela
up
vägen.
and thought that's what they were
Kom igen.
calling in. He's putting the guard back on this.
Ja, bra så, räcker.
Bra där.
Ja.
Swiss have got an option on that left red.
Ja.
They come down with control weight. They can just flop it and move, push that back, move it out of the way. But at the moment, so you can see a good chunk of that stone. Back ring weight's going to move that out to the side, and you could be lying 3. You're coming down and having a look now, but the choice is, do you do it now or do you save it? Danger is you
Don't
don't get to the inside of it
Det kan man så där.
and bump that Swedish stone back.
Ja, det måste
Er müsste hure weit innen, also so
So, ja.
treffen, ja.
Mehr als Ding. Mehr als für nicht Rap.
Wir können rausstreifen hier.
Team discussion about the
Der
best way
Gardner
forward with this.
machen.
I don't
No,
think, I
going
don't
back
think
for the
Mark's
guard.
convinced.
No, he's going back for the guard. They've got last stone in this end, so they know that the scoring stone can come later. They just want to make sure that the guard's out of the way and they've got the best chance of...
Yeah, I don't see how you get to the inside of that red one.
You don't think you can get in
No,
there?
I don't think so.
Well, I don't know, with the finish,
You can get
you only have to
maybe
move it,
get to the nose.
you only have to move
if
it
you
to the
look.
edge of the 8 foot to count that top stone.
I don't think you can get into it.
We've seen some pretty spectacular finishes on stones this weekend, I'll tell you.
Well, maybe.
When you think you're sitting on the outside and you're all of a sudden on the inside.
Well, we're not going to know it with this rock. It's taken off the guard.
Okay, so Sweden can see that.
Han kommer ju komma där. Men bara så han inte kan vicka ut bara med. Alltså när han är här.
We may never know, Brad.
No, I don't think we're going to get to bet a Toblerone on
Jag
it.
visade med en tredjedel där då. Ja. Vad tror du, fartdämpad va?
Every time I see a Toblerone bar, I have to laugh because when you play the Basel men's,
Yep.
as you're eliminated, there's a little man standing there with a pack of 5 Toblerones with a bow around it as a goodbye gift. So as you're playing your last stone and you glance up and he's standing there, you think it's either we're getting the Toblerone or they're getting the Toblerone.
It's like the hangman coming.
I think he does it on purpose. He stays in the eye shot of the person sliding out just to incentivize them. As much as I like Toblerone, you want to hold that off as long as possible. Well, they're going to shuffle these around now. And pop that one off the back. They'll put themselves into a good position here. Little short run back.
Japp, japp! Ja, ja! Hårt! 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 Hårt!
Keeping that fairly
Hela vägen,
straight.
kom igen.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, now it's accessible, of course. I don't know why they just didn't tap that a little bit.
I'm not sure why they threw that weight at it either. Because that was... Obviously you're going to lose your shooter if you throw that
Schnell
weight
das
at it.
ausgeht, so.
Så, oder?
Schnell das ausgeht,
Ja.
oder? Halb treffen.
Mark is play hit and roll
3
here in
Viertel
lane
lang,
2.
vielleicht auch noch.
He's deciding to
Så, det så, ja.
try and remove both red ones.
Also,
Take the tough one.
es gibt keine Variante.
Why would you take the easy one if you can take the
Take the
tough
top.
one?
Well, it's we call it a TV shot.
Ja, gut Halt.
They're having second thoughts again.
Ja, wäre auch eine Option.
The world always looks different from the hack.
Good idea. Come back down again.
Yeah.
I think this is a better call here. Get this red
Ja,
one,
get
roll
out.
over and lay sit
Mehr
two,
muss ich ja nicht
8
sehen.
foot.
Die Frage ist nur, wenn ich vorne drauf komme, was passiert. Dann stoße ich den hierher.
This is something that, you know, you see the difference when the elite teams play versus more club curling, is that when they see this kind of shot, they'll come back down and discuss it and start again.
Toch brengen en even in. Wat moest ik zeggen? Ga zo hier drauf laten.
For some reason, he's
That's a good
concerned
shot.
with playing on that red one and the
Yeah.
4 foot. That he's
Yeah, and it's
concerned he
their
might
spot to go
might
down.
clip
Yes,
that
it's a big
red
one.
one on the top.
Zo, was daar best.
I don't know if you can.
Snel.
Ein Viertel ist auch gut, oder? Ein Viertel treffen ist auch gut.
They'll be discussing somewhere in all of that, plan A and
Weißt du, wenn
plan
ich
B.
nicht second bleiben liegen,
If
das
this
ist nicht
doesn't
fair.
happen, what's the next best option?
He's got 2/3 of
Huh?
it. He's going for the double. Going for the TV shot.
It's there.
Viertel ist auch gut, oder?
Ja.
Stone's fairly close together, so it's pretty controllable. Just have to get the angle right on the top one and the rest do the work.
Mark Pfister. First rock here in the 4th
Yep.
end.
Ja! Wow! Wow!
Lo- loses everything.
Well, I doubt that was plan B.
No. He certainly threw it hard enough.
Persoonskaffen met twee große Tassen.
Ja,
Aber gegen 3 Jahre etwas machen.
Ja, bis hinten hin, was da.
Müssen ja nicht, oder?
Ja, wenn wir am 5. Dann machst du noch nicht
So,
so.
looks like we're heading for a blank on this one.
Certainly does.
Sweden will try to hang right on the edge and hope for a miss. Happens more often than you'd think. Put a stone at the side, you think just throw big weight at it and rip it out. And how many times does it come down and swing in nose and stay in the house? Force you to a one.
Bra linje. Den är i boet nu.
Bra linje, we remember that. The line's good. They're
Måste
going to
vara
bring
precis
this
igen.
right over to the side of the rings. The best chance for a mistake. Of course, it has to stay in the rings, which it didn't. So,
Ja, så då är det spelat.
well, this is a shot now you can't miss as a throw through.
Literally både. Literally både.
Jokingly going to play on that stone.
Machen wir 6 2.
Pfister are looking.
Give me a corner guard
Yeah, this is always an interesting
Corner
point.
guard clean.
Whether you want to take one, put it on the board, and sit 2 ahead, whether you want to blank this. He's obviously calling now for the throw through. But there are times when you would actually take the one, just keep yourself far enough ahead. If you were sitting 2 ahead, you might have put one on the board anyway, just to open up that gap, make things easier for you.
Well, no doubt about that one.
Yeah, that one didn't need sweeping.
And with that, with the blank end here in the fourth, the score remains 2-1 in Pfister's favor, and Pfister maintains the hammer going into the 5th end. We're here at the Champery Masters. We're curling tour action. Quarterfinals Saturday evening here, Champery, Switzerland. Now we're here after the halfway point. Champery Masters, World Curling Tour action, quarterfinals. My name is Armin Harder. I'm here with Brad Askew, national coach of the Czech men's and women's teams. And we're at Malbergs from Sweden, playing Mark Pfister from Switzerland. Pfister, obviously the far more experienced team. Malberg still a very young team. I think they're only a couple of years out of juniors, aren't they?
Yeah, the team changed around a little bit. I know Patrick has been up through the juniors at the same time of teams like Mowat and Smith. So they're not far out of juniors.
Champery. Finish.
So zone 3 guard, and they're going to come around and try to sit top 4 here. Hangs a little bit wide, doesn't quite finish underneath.
Edin steals one in the 4th to take a 3-0 lead against Staley. And Van Dorp Brewster still up 2-1 in that game with the hammer after 4 ends. Wallet Drummond. That game is 2-1 after 4 ends, and Drummond has the No, sorry, Mowat has the hammer. So all very close still.
Yeah, very close games.
Quarterfinals get 3,000 and the semifinals get 5,000. So there's 2,000 Swiss francs just alone on this game, and the opportunity to play for much more. Simon Gempler. Basically the only one from Adelboden, this team playing out of Adelboden.
I'm not sure I even know where that is.
It's another mountain mountain village in Switzerland.
Okay.
It's in the Bern region.
Oh, okay. I just needed a big city to go by.
Yeah, it's not too far from Bern. And Sven Michel, this was Sven Michel's former team. Of course, Sven left that team last year.
Switzerland didn't quite get the shot they wanted out of this. Left a bit of an angle here, so they can take these out and roll behind the two guards they've set up.
And I'm not sure about Malbergs, are they? I know Niemann is out of Lexand.
I actually don't know where they base out of. It's different in the Swiss system are often based at their own rink, where many other countries have players from all over the country. Caught the second one. No, that wasn't a good shot. It turned in or a little bit light.
Great opportunity here for the Swiss now to maybe go for two.
Yeah, the Swedes are struggling a little bit trying to match up the ice they're being given with the speed that it's coming down. They're just being caught out on the swing, or maybe the speed, or even whether it's a slightly soft release. This ice is very, very punishing on a soft release. That means you're not directing the stone toward the brush, you're letting it swing too early. And boy oh boy, when it starts to move, the sweepers really struggle to hold it. Don't get me wrong, we like swinging ice. Straight ice is very, very difficult to play on.
So rotation.
So many more shots available when the ice is swinging. Much more aggressive game. Yeah, a lot of the technical sessions with these elite teams are about how you turn the rotation up and down based on the ice conditions. Whether you want to get the stone to run straighter and a little bit deeper, or whether you want it to swing with a big finish. You often have teams with one or maybe two left-hand players as well, which puts them on the other side of the hack, and they can come in at a different angle that right-handed throwers can play. Gives you more options.
That might just rotate back. No, yeah. Didn't spin back in, as it so often does. Another wide open in now, all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's bad luck for the Swedes. They set up a double guard and then they opened their own stones up.
Oh, Rico! That's good. Rico! Yep.
Looking for a little bit of a roll to the side, and they managed to get that.
Yeah, great shot.
Normal. Ja. Tror ni lite mer?
This will be frustrating for Sweden as well, because they had the double guard set up and now they're gone. House is open again. It's really, really difficult to play a multi-scoring end when you've got nothing to hide behind.
Ja. Hela vägen.
So this is the last big European CCT event before we head for the European Championships, again back here in Switzerland, in St. Gallen. There used to be a CCT in Edinburgh in Scotland, but that's no longer with us, unfortunately, so This is a big event for these teams. That's why you've got the range of teams you've got here. Most of them heading for the Europeans in less than a month's time.
And of course, CCT and the World Curling Tour over the summer having merged and now rebranded all their events as World Curling Tour events.
Yeah, it's it'd be hard to get used to saying that. You're so used to just saying CCT.
CCT started 15 years ago and really got a lot of these teams grew up in the CCT playing in Europe.
Still throws me off when I type that in and expect to see the CCT site come up, and it's completely different now.
Pops you right to the World Curling Tour. And
so Fredrik Niemann coming down now. Vice skip for the Swedish team. They're going to try to get something set up here with that stone that's just off the corner of the rings. They've got to try to force a mistake from the Swiss and leave themselves an option of building something up. Still too far open, didn't quite get far enough underneath, didn't get a big enough finish.
Just stopped on them or something.
It might have hit a little bit of a flat patch, pebbled a little bit flat there. Seemed to dig in. Comes a big weight shot here, hoping to clear this up. Sweepers are holding it. Great shot.
He rolls in
and
too.
Rolls in the bonus.
Yeah, that's really good.
Bonus shot. The Swiss are playing very, very well this game. They're really managing to get the line right, get the weight right, call the sweeping, getting good results.
Lite kort har vi skjutningen ligger kvar. Lite in bara. Ja. Den pass. Okej. Vicka in typ en sten bara. Och bajta. Ja, det är för is då.
So we're down to Skips Rocks already. This game just seems to be flying along.
It does. Big hitting games, they move quickly. It's been really hard. The Swedes have made attempts to get something set up and it's just not happening. They're facing empty houses time and time again. So they're looking to take this and roll. There we go.
Nice roll to the center. Unfortunately for the Swedes, there's nothing out front to protect it.
No, this is a totally open house. There's nowhere to hide.
Sounds like a song. No place to run, no place to hide.
I've sung that a few times from the coach's bench. It's been nice coming this weekend after having the Mixed World Championships here. Everything is still set up from that big event, so feels special this year. Coach's bench still in place, great view. Out on the ice, you can hear all the action.
Yeah, the only thing different for this event is we usually don't have the coach's bench down the far end for the Masters. Everything else is the same.
Yeah, no, it's.
But it does add, of course, with the far end.
It does help to be out on the ice and in your comfort zone.
Right.
With your blanket.
I'm surprised they actually gave you a blanket.
We've hidden them so they don't take them away.
Nose hit.
All the options are with the Swiss here.
Coming up to that all-important sixth then,
and this is what we talked about earlier. Even though this is open, and unless there's a miss, we're not going to get a score of 2 here. Fifth end, put another point on the board, open it up to 2-point lead. Fifth or sixth end is usually when you make that decision. You wouldn't do it earlier, you try to save the hammer for a bigger scoring end, but as we get to the back end of the game, 2-point lead is important.
Oh, ja. Det är bra. Bra.
Ja. Kann ich nicht so weit aus haben. Streif. Und dann spinnt er gleich raus, weißt du?
Ja.
So we're down the last rock, and I do believe they'll be blanking this.
Clearing.
Yeah, they will be.
That was a good hit for the Swedes because the front of the stone is hanging off the front. If they nosed it, they wouldn't be
I wonder if they'd be blanking it the other way, and maybe this side's a little dangerous.
I was going to say,
Careful
I'm looking
of
at that yellow
the
stone in
jamming
the
at
back.
the back. And sometimes these rocks have eyes.
It looks like a long way away, but you'd be surprised.
I think I might be peeling it the other way.
That's the safe way to peel. If we were teaching a junior team, we'd stop them right here and there and tell them to peel the other way so you're not driving your stone toward a possible jam.
Ooh, did he flare it? Well, they got away with that one, and
Got away with it, but there was an intake of breath there. He threw it wide, the sweepers had nothing to do, they just had to hope it stayed on that line.
and with that, another blank end in the fifth. The score remains 2-1. And going to the sixth end, Pfister has the hammer, but I have a strange suspicion that Pfister's going to go for it here and try and make that 2 by all counts. In that sixth end. We're here, World Curling Tour. Curling champ. There. You got me all messed up.
I'm going to have to write it on my hand to make sure I say WCT instead of CCT.
Masters in Champery. And it's every year. It's a wonderful event. Great hosting up here. And people just welcome us.
It's a great event in the arena, and it's lovely when you step outside and you're surrounded completely by mountains.
Sure, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's a very lovely place. And Switzerland are going to want to put 2 on the board here, open up a gap, hold Sweden in the 7th end to a low score, and then hit what we call a hit for home.
So on the 5th end, another steal of 2 for Edin, and he's got full control of that game with a 5-0 lead over Staley. But that's not really a surprise. The #1 seed in this competition. Young Swiss team did quite well to get into the quarterfinals. Brewster takes 1 against Van Dorp, so that's a 3-1 game after 5 ends.
That's a good result because last time I looked there was 4 red stones in the house.
Okay.
So he's pretty happy to walk away from that with a 1.
And the other game, Mott, Drummond there standing in front of the scoreboard. I can't see that right at this moment. I'll give you an update shortly. There's still 2-1 after 4 ends, and they're coming down to the last rocks here in the 5th. Just saw him missing the guard on that Eddie sheet from the Swedes.
It does happen. We always think that the Team Edin are faultless with their hitting, but every once in a while you get a bit of luck in your favor. Okay, this is an important stone now for Johannes Potts.
Jättebra va? Bra linje. 8.
You see a band-aid on Johannes's middle finger. He was at work and he saw pipes that were loose and were rolling, and he tried to stop it, and a machine came down and took the tip of his finger off. So that's what the band-aid is for.
Okay. Well, You do have 5 fingers, don't
Eight,
you?
exactly.
10 fingers.
Got spares.
Kom maar voor, 12 is nog vriezen.
Just need to be able to hold the broom.
Voorachter is ook goed, Champery.
Ja, maar geen vriezen.
He was favouring it a couple of weeks ago when he was playing in Prague.
would
It just
imagine.
freshly happened, but he seems to be fine with it now.
Ja, de muur is vast van zijn ogen.
Nee, het gaat zo. Skörlich gut.
Oké.
Wenn du hier anschlägst, ist nicht schlimm.
Kom naar voren,
Komm vor, 8 Länge.
Oh, another rock going to come in down on top of that. Simon Gempler. Really solid lead thrower, Simon, throughout the years.
Oh!
Really consistent.
Nee.
These, when you play at this elite level, lead is so important to your game. If the lead stones are not in position, you struggle.
Ja!
You really, really rely on your lead to be able to set up the end you want.
And here we see another
Nee, Skörlich.
nice rock.
Als hij zo kan.
Ja, het is echt.
Teams are really on top of this swing and weight control now. Everything just hugging the center line. This will now just be down to a matter of judging the angle that you want the stone to finish on to set you up for a future shot. Little wobble there.
Even mjuk släppa. Ja! Hela vägen! En lös! Wow. Vi. Ja, gå. Ja.
As it gets a little mess here.
So probieren.
Ja. Die gaat de handen laten, vielleicht kannst du sogar den Rot raus.
Oder? Hier.
Ja.
Müssen wir nicht, oder?
Nou.
There's a lovely view of the mountains of Champery over their shoulders in the background.
I keep looking at that.
So do I. Every time I look up, I say, well, there you go. You don't even need to look out the window.
It's dark now anyways. So almost 9 o'clock here in Champery.
We gaan je niet noemen. Gaan we snel gaan horen.
Tomorrow morning we'll have a semi-final action at 9 a.m. local time. It's exactly 12 hours we'll be starting that.
We gaan je niet noemen ervoor de zwak kleden. Voor die strut
And
brand.
then
Dat
at
is een klein beetje
12:30 I believe we will have the final. I
So.
just want to check that,
Daar
make sure I'm
hier,
not
zo.
telling
Daar
you
neemt hij het aan mee.
fibs. 12:30,
12:30. Yeah.
the final.
Erin toe.
Big,
Oder ob het noemen zo er is,
big
is er zo
discussion now with the Swiss.
goed. Maar hier nutzt hij
Call it a board
veel, hè.
meeting when the whole team is down.
Het erin toe. Is goed. Dus is even daar. Is ook goed.
Obviously with the hammer. Not too keen on all that red granite laying in front of the house.
Yeah, it just cuts down your options if you've got the hammer.
En de 4 klausen erin toe.
They're staggered, so run backs aren't an option. They're just going to have to try to tidy this up.
Some of the locals coming in to see what's going on, what all the yelling is about.
Ja! Oh! Ja! 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 Hier!
Oh, almost got that one.
So close.
You indicated that one right at the beginning. Was going now? He's probably
They're
kidding,
laughing.
come
They
on.
saw how close they came to that.
Sure, we'll have a good replay here. Won't be able to see it that good from this angle, but that's red one. That's there we go. Look at that.
Ooh.
Oh.
He's very lucky he didn't pick that
Yeah, great work
one
there
off the
from
back.
my Polar HD TV crew. Thanks a lot, guys. You're doing a great job.
Den är jättebra. Den är bra.
Guess I shouldn't
Bara stanna.
tell that until we're finished the final one.
Haken nära. Haken nära. Kallar över. Haken nära. Nära. 12.
It's okay, you got to wave. They're still smiling.
Nära. Nära. Aj, den är längre alltså. Helvete. Ja.
No, doesn't look happy with that.
Passagebäst.
Ah, sen.
Gut. Und sonst ist so. So ist auch gut, Trillo. So.
They're just going to shuffle these around a little bit now.
So, mit dir so.
No, it looks he's indicating a hit
Chip
and
and
roll
roll,
on
yep.
front.
So he doesn't want to go far, just set up a direct run back on that top yellow.
Referee Markey.
Noch nicht drauf, noch nicht drauf, noch nicht drauf.
Coming now.
We're
happy with it. Sweepers.
Yep.
Okay,
Zieh.
Raphael's brother, Dominic Markey, his spare for
Eller bara så.
De Cruz. Will be spare at the Olympics.
Jag gillar den där. Bara vicka mot här. Eller dutta den en sten hit. Ja, bara en
So
halv
that
sten är
stone's just sitting high enough that it gives Sweden an option on a double. Switzerland wanted to just chip and roll, but that's come too far, so they tried to sweep it to the side to level those two stones up, and it just... Oh, there we go, a replay of nearly chipping off the back stone. We've all been there, we know that feeling.
Den ligger inte riktigt ens den högra.
Definitely set up for a 2 now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Kan vara då.
Really nice.
Switzerland, if that stone was 1 foot further back, there'd be no
Kör inte superhård
double,
men
but
lite extra
it's
bara.
just at an angle with big weight. They can try to come across. If nothing else, tip that off from behind that stone.
Actually a triple there if they played it off the top.
Ja, whoa. Ja,
Neiman now. Stone's on the way.
Whoa.
No, just hit it a little bit too thick.
Ja, bra där.
Pull it off the back. Yeah.
Bra lead-enkel. Snyggt. Bra där.
All of these stones have separation. None of them are locked in, so there's options on angles. Makes a big difference whether you've got a couple of centimeters gap between the stones or whether the stones are touching and locked.
Machen wir das jetzt? Etwas tappen können wir auch nicht. Boah.
Ja, legt er mit 2 hier.
Ja. Komm mal da. Hier. Er ist fest. Wir können ja den probieren. Sonst triffst du ihn hier.
Raus, ist nicht stehen.
Ja. Du hast hier. Ja, fast eine halbe. Dritte Steinspatzung.
There's an outside double, but you lose your shooter.
Ja. Der wäre nicht unbedingt oder so günstig. Aber
Entweder nimmst du den oder du nimmst den. Clearinglänge.
I can't see a lot of either one of them.
In fact, that looks a lot thinner than when you looked at it from above. That's one of those, yeah, I think there's too thin.
Das ist nicht gut.
This is why we need the coaching drones. You'd have already written down something on your paper and then you realise the angle actually isn't there.
ja, entweder vom Direktor von Schott oder auf Rot. Dürfte nicht ja, schlimmste Fall zu aber.
Good view across the other sheets. Oh, there's a handshake. It's one game over.
That's Edin winning that game quite handily
Yep.
against
Go. Yep.
Staley.
Yeah.
Sweepers trying to hold this online. Nope. They did try that thin double, and they just caught the top one. So close. He obviously went down to the hack, thought he could see enough of it to take it over the top and pick those two red stones out, but just too tight.
Durchgewusst.
Frustrating when it's that close. You won't get another shot at it. Well, at least it's opened that up now.
A double possibility for Sweden, or Swedish team. They're
Han får inte träffa den på höger
playing the
sida,
card.
men vänster sida kan jag öppna.
It's always frustrating when you have that lovely double set up and you just miss it because you know you're not going to get out of the chance at it.
Looks like they're playing the guard here.
Känns lite hård alltså.
Certainly are.
Guard weight.
Yeah.
Vänta lite.
Yeah, he's up front. He wants his zone 2 mid guard off the rings. Prevent it running back, but still gives them options.
Pretty aggressive call.
Var med och gå. Var med. Japp! 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 Japp!
You need to swing it. Swing it. Okay.
Ja.
Edin stole another one in the sixth, so that game was 6-0 in the final after 6 ends of play.
Hou is goed!
In Scotland, they refer to that as a granny.
A granny.
So Stowley got grannied. Didn't get a point on the board.
Okay. I've never heard that one before. So first.
They've got some great terms for curling.
Alex,
It's got 300 and some years of curling history. They've had plenty of time to come up with some interesting
I'm sure there are some
names.
that are long forgotten already too.
Yeah.
So Van Dorp ties up Brewster. And they're 3-3 after 6 ends of play, so that's a pretty tight game.
That's an interesting game because number 1's playing number 8, so a tight game. The Dutch are playing really, really well to hold on to this.
Playoffs are, of course, just
Fresh
got to
start.
get to the playoffs. New game after that.
Yeah, 2 competitions every weekend, the round robin and the playoffs. It all starts from scratch again.
Alltså här. Det är liksom en...
Vad händer om vi går i här då?
Ja, men vad händer om vi missar alla? Det är likadant om du delar den här. Den här är ju kung.
This is a really important shot for Sweden because if Switzerland manage to get points on the board here, I'm afraid it's going to be a big task to get back.
Ja, men lägger vi här. Kan vi antingen gå på den eller så skickar jag in, alltså den här är typ 3 red så kommer den sitta i den.
Some of Team Edin
Ja,
have
skulle du missa så blir jag ingenting
taken
bra.
up residence at the side of the rink watching their compatriots
Fryser vi den här har vi ingenting heller.
get themselves
Det är lika
out of
långt
this
ifrån
end.
liksom. Det gör den där. Alltså, skulle den vara kort så kan vi
Edin
spela på
will
den
be
liksom.
facing either Fister or
Den här,
Malbec
så den här har vi
in that game, I
på
believe.
2 han kommer skita på sig liksom. I den eller?
In that semi-final.
Alltså det är typ nästan bra duttan här lite grann också. Det gör inte så mycket.
Mowat in a bit of trouble there down on the last rock, and he's looking
Så linjen är viktigast alltså.
3 really well guarded Drummond rocks.
Yeah,
I think he's
there's,
trying to figure out how to get in there.
there's a big mess out front as well. Not going to give you many options. There's 5 guards on 3 stones.
Got to come through a port, draw
Linjen.
right to the button.
I've seen him do this many times before. This is a big shot. So
Malbergs back to this game.
Ja, håll i den. Bra linje.
First skips rocks here in the 6th.
Bra linje.
Yellow has the hammer.
Ja, vadå? Var med. Var med.
it's hanging. The Swedish are waiting for it to move. Get the right angle on it. So it's moving now into line.
Bara köra in, bara köra in. Ingenting. Köra in då. Bra.
Otetaan justiin.
Kann er so weit austreffen? Hat er genug Kraft, für den rauszudrücken?
Momentan.
Ja.
Ja.
Was wollte ich denn machen noch, Champery? Zutun hier.
Yeah,
Mutta
good
tää hillomen
attempts.
väärin, tää ottaa.
Gives up a steal of 1.
Er
Mowat
ist im Weg.
Tää.
Aber weißt, ich
Didn't
kann nicht
miss it by
zutun,
much.
hier zutun.
Yeah, when you're facing a
Verschießt
pile of
er über den.
opposition stones, a 1 is a pretty good result.
Ich muss auch den probieren.
Unfortunately, the steal of 1 means it's
Ja,
3-1 after 6 ends for Drummond.
Så.
So Mount's still he's got his work cut out for him.
He's going to need a 2 and a steal
spring nu
to
hier.
walk away with a victory here.
Wenn ich das spiele und er hier so
Ja,
liegt,
ja,
hat er ja gratis.
ja, das ist gratis für 3 mit 3 zu legen.
Aber ich muss hier unbedingt so bleiben
Pfister
liegen.
are still looking at
Wenn ich hier
this.
so oben treffe,
They
dann
want
geht
the
das
best outcome from this shot to set them up for a scoring shot with the last one.
Oben treffen.
Down to skip stones, the
okay,
skip 2.
Hast du keine Kraft. Ne?
Just gotta be careful here.
Halt, so, bleiben liegen.
Ja.
This could turn around
Schau
on
hier
him,
drauf.
bite him,
Hier
and
schon.
Yeah.
bite him real bad.
Von außen nicht, oder?
Gut, also.
Sometimes you need to sacrifice your own stone to get yourself in a better position, one that's not probably not going to count anyway.
Ja, das ist
Little redirect, little in off. You're going to come off this one and
Das
try
wäre
to set.
wirklich nur Streif.
Au.
Ja, vielleicht sogar noch ein bisschen unter.
Drittel.
Ja.
Ja, musst aufpassen. Wir müssen nicht
What they
bockstill
don't
bleiben
wanna
stehen
do-
vorne
Ja.
dran.
Is come off at too thin an angle on this, touch one of the reds and pop their yellow off the button.
Wenn ich einen kleinen falsch treffe, ist es passiert.
So this is an important shot.
Das voll auch.
Simon Kempler holding the broom. Plays lead rocks.
Die Frage ist, ob er überhaupt Clearing muss spielen.
So, das ist auch.
Ja,
Ein bisschen mehr
genau.
eingeben.
Genau.
It's a good view of what the skip can see, looking down from the hack. And it's away.
Ja, ja. Ja.
Ja, ja!
Ja!
They're on it hard. They're on it hard. So it's got to be tight of the line they're looking for. Okay.
Gut so.
So they've sacrificed their outside stone to bring a stone into position, move that top red off to give themselves some room. They hit that a little bit thicker than they wanted, bounced a little bit higher. But they're lucky they didn't touch that button stone.
Du får ut den här heller. Ja, kanske. Men jag spelar lika tunn som jag gjorde förra gången. Hela på nästa boll.
Ein bisschen weiter runter, so gar nicht clear. Ja.
Och när jag var på järnetta. Vilken? Den här eller? Nej, den här ligger liksom en halv nedanför. Tråkigt att järnetta, men det går inte att göra så mycket tror jag. Ja, så vi måste ta jättetunn, då kanske vi får ner den här.
Sweden are looking
det är
if
inte
they
bra om vi
want to
bara har
move
klippt med
that,
trean och tar
whether
den, då är
they
liksom.
just want to top and lock it in.
Ja, det är bara att
They're
göra
looking
den
at drawing and just making sure
alltså, det
that the
finns inget, är det någon
maximum
som ser
of
något så
one
är det-
available to Switzerland.
Might be a little dangerous to move any of those around.
I think
Ja,
that's
det
what
spelar-
they're looking at because they
Ja.
don't want to set
Om
this
vi
up
hamnar här
for
får han
a
liksom
score more
lite
than one.
snedträff så.
It's not a crisis if Switzerland score a one, that puts them
Nej,
2
lägger
points
man.
ahead,
Jag gillar den också. Ja, även här är
which
bra.
means
Eller,
gives
Gärna
Sweden an
ner alltså.
opportunity
Ja, så
to
han kan
then
knacka
come
den,
back,
men-
hopefully
ja.
with a 2, even the game up.
Lutta, den här gör ingenting. Nej.
Så kan du näppa avfånga och det är väl ett troff. Då är det så här på ryggen.
Lite till.
So they just want to draw down on top of this. Leave a halo of red stones around the top of the 4-foot ring. Give no way in behind and leave only jams.
Ja, var med. Ja, håll igång. Ja, linje.
Calling for lines, so they're asking the sweepers to
Vi är på översta garden.
try to hold this
bara splitta där.
position.
Ut lite
This
mer.
is
Ut.
coming up well short.
No damage though, I don't think.
Nope.
Ja, då kanske det är här vid os. Små där bäst.
That was a long way short of what they were looking for, so I'm wondering if that was maybe a fresh path they were coming down.
Ja, det är gett för. Jag tror bara det är nyppra bier. Nej,
The Swiss want to make 2, they're going to have to play red onto yellow. That's pretty dangerous.
On i hand.
Maßgerecht. Pillow.
Here we go, big discussion.
Ja, aber jetzt mal Mensch, statt da hier dran
See, you can come around that right-hand side with back 4 weight, where he's got his brush right now. Touch that and just flop in for your 2. That red guard is a long way off. That's easily able to swing around that. Just back 4 weight, edge of back 8 weight.
They're not even looking at that.
Well, he put his brush there, but I think they're going to try something else.
Sometimes you
here.
get tunnel vision.
Yeah, they're looking at the front now.
No, they've been looking at the front the whole time. Don't even think they've looked at that.
They're looking at it
I
now.
think now Enrico's looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the shot I would call.
There you
Come
go.
around and just flop it and bounce in. There's that guard is a long way off, a good 8 feet up. There's plenty of room to swing. We've seen many stones finish big on toward the center line.
I think that raise red on the yellow, or if you hit that wrong, you may just give up a steal of 3. Pick out your own or something like that.
If they come from this side, even if they hit that wide, they should still get the 1.
Well, they're calling your shot here, Brad, so...
I was obviously talking too loud.
They heard you down there.
This is very makeable shot. That guard is a long way up.
Actually, you can just draw in there.
Yeah, it's basically a last stone draw, a draw
Don't
shot.
Don't need to hit that red one at all. Just draw.
I think just to be cautious that they don't come up short. They're going to play enough weight just to catch the inside of that and flop onto the yellow on the button.
Take a lot of ice.
I think he literally only wants back 4 weight. He can't come up short on the draw or they won't get 2 out of this. Nice soft rotation. So this should finish big. Coming off the wall
They've
now.
given up on it
they've given
already.
up. It's obviously wide. Oh, it's short. Sorry.
Short.
Really short. See, again, that Sweden stone came up really short, and now the Swiss stone has come up short.
So that's score of 1 here in the 6th. And that will take Pfister to a 3-1 lead after 6 ends of play here in quarterfinal action at the Champery Masters. Patrick Marburgs is to make up 2 here in the 7th and 8th ends.
They really need to get something going on this end because they can't leave everything to the last end. Just gives Switzerland a chance to hit everything that slows down. Switzerland are going to come top 4 and control the 4-foot, and you're probably going to be seeing guards from the Swedish team trying to set themselves up for 2 or more.
Brewster manages only 1 in the 7th to give him a 4-3 lead over Van Dorp. Van Dorp's got the hammer coming home in the 8th end. Our game was flying along now and just come to a stall.
Yeah, there's a couple of big discussions over the positioning in that last end. It slowed things down a little. So this is going to see a pretty classic first 4 stones. Top 4 corner guard, top 12 corner guard, I think. Right out of the textbook. All 3 are out sweeping this one. It's coming up a bit short. It's really important to get these corner guards in a good position. That's too short, unfortunately. That gives you options to come around either side of that. Really needs to be tighter to the rings when the ice is swinging this big. So that's a 50% shot, I'm afraid.
Feister vor 4 ist schon gut. Die Linie ist perfekt. Nur mal Länge schauen.
Kom så.
Ja. Komm, das ist kurz. Komm, kein Gas.
They're going to want this in a
Weiter,
perfect line with the one in the rings. No, it's a little bit wide. A little bit short on legs.
I don't think they wanted to leave a guard either.
No, you don't want to leave a guard when your opposition has the hammer. That's not a good shot. It's a good 7 feet separation there, so you can get around that quite easily.
Johannes Pats.
Känns lite hård.
Bra linje. Helt lugn linje. 10. Japp. Wow. Helst bara här uppe. Ja, han är 10. Kommer kalla över lite då.
They're not doing the classic 4, they're coming around the corner guard, but again, as I say, that corner guard is so long that you can see that right around the other side. We're having a look at something there on the ice. So that's come right in deep and out the other side. Switzerland are going to get rid of this guard. Make this job as hard as possible for Sweden.
Yep. Gut, schön Trillo.
It's interesting how many double guards we've had set up and nobody's played a chip shot or a tick shot.
Haven't seen one all weekend.
No. Oh, I've seen a few. The Scots played a few earlier. But it's tricky when the ice is swinging big. I saw Michael Goodfellow play a perfect one and then completely miss the second one. Vincent Stenberg here, hoping to get something set up for Team Sweden. They're replacing the guard and they're going to want this one a little bit deeper, protect that stone on the right hand side. Don't want to leave a run back. This is the difficult judgment. Long enough for a guard, but not close enough for a run back.
That rock pretty well exactly in the same place that it was before.
Yep.
Switzerland have the advantage here. They can just keep hitting and clearing. All the work is down to the Swedes. The Swiss will just defend. Try to not let them set anything up.
Ja, typ 18.
I was watching a game the other day from the stands. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and some locals came up and they were discussing things and they saw my jacket that had national coach, and one of them leaned over and said, "We're having a discussion. Curling isn't an Olympic sport, is it?" I went, there's 7, all I could think is there's 7 teams here going to be fighting it out for the 2 last spaces of the Olympics. It most certainly is an Olympic sport. With the addition of mixed doubles this year.
I guess maybe some of these real back in high up in the mountains may not have a television. Just take in the fresh air and read books or something. Or
I think the Olympic rings embedded in the ice is a good clue. This is the first Olympic Games that will feature mixed doubles, so there'll be 4 medals available instead of 3. Traditionally it's a men's gold, ladies gold and Paralympic gold, wheelchair gold, but this year there'll be mixed doubles as well, so 8 teams will be contesting that.
Those Olympic rings where that rock just landed is advertising for the Olympic Museum down in Lausanne.
Oh, that's where it is. Lausanne, yeah, I saw an advertisement for it, but I wasn't sure.
Those mixed doubles competition will be starting before the official opening ceremonies take place in order to get those that event
Ja, det går väl precis.
in.
Jag gillar typ en hack Sverige bakom bara.
The other sports at the Olympics always are marvel at the fact that curling has played almost the whole spread of the Olympics. Now we've stretched beyond that. We're starting 2 days before.
And I think curling will be the second last event on the schedule too, with I think the ice hockey final being the last one. So I don't think we're going to lack for watching curling in the Olympics.
Nej. Ja.
Nej, vickar av nästan.
Nice little hit and roll. Yeah, it's a bit of a bitter point for us. The Czech Republic missed out by 1 stone going to the mixed doubles Olympics, playing Team Switzerland. And we had a nice stone tucked around a guard and just showed enough of it that they could pick it and push it to the back of the forefoot. Both the teams in that game, that semi-final, had no points, so whoever proceeded to the final had enough points to go directly to the Olympics, and in this case Sweden came out on top. Switzerland came out on top.
Switzerland having qualified for all 3 events, men's, women's and mixed doubles.
Champery!
Nice little clear, run back and take both of those stones, spill them out of the house.
There's mixed doubles, believe there's only 8 countries involved.
Yeah, there's only 8.
Ja, det är bra.
So they'll start 2 days before the opening ceremony. There's no games that evening while the opening ceremony's on, and they'll be finishing, and then men's and ladies will hit the ice for training for 2 days. And start about day 3, I think it is, of the games, stretching right to almost the closing ceremony.
Håll igång! Där, linje! Bra linje!
Line's good, bra linje.
Ligger i linje. Hårt! Tryck Johannes, tryck nu! Hårt! Hela vägen ner, du har den här! Hårt, kom igen! Kom igen!
This is going to come up a little short to get buried. That needed another 2 feet. And there's enough of it sticking out that can be picked straight out.
Mowat in the 7th end makes 2 to tie up that game with Drummond. Drummond having the hammer in the 8th.
There's some serious talent on that Scotland versus Scotland game. Multiple world and Olympic medalists and world junior champions and world mixed champions. They've got the lot. There's a medal available. There's somewhere on that sheet. They've got it.
And their Olympic team, Kyle Smith, is also an extremely young team. They've got a lot of curling ahead of them. There'll be some good competitions, I believe, certainly between Mowat and Smith coming up over the years.
Yeah, there's a few Olympic cycles left in both of them. Team Smith were selected, so there was no play down in Scotland. They were nominated by their governing body. So they will go straight to the Olympics, and the other teams are now changed around for the next Olympic cycle. Fresh faces and fresh teams.
Do you know if the Scottish teams the Olympic teams will be a chance going to the Worlds?
Yes, they will. There was one year where they tried the Canadian system, but there was a lot of blowback over that when Eve Muirhead won the Worlds and wasn't allowed to go back and defend it the year afterwards. So I don't think that will be happening again somehow.
Tom just missed a shot there.
Yeah, just rubbed the edge of his stone and pushed them into the center. So
and
this
the
is
Dutch have an open draw for
2.
For 2 to win the game.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, fine, sorry. I just was trying to look at the position and the scoreboard at the same time.
The Swiss don't allow they do their Swiss championships. A nice double there. The Swiss do their Swiss championships during the Olympics, so both Swiss teams can't go to the Worlds, and I think that's all right.
Yeah, no, there's a few teams that don't send their teams to both. Obviously, in Olympic year, the Olympics is the important event because it only comes around once every 4.
I think most of those teams are out of gas by the time they had to play another national championship and a world championship to add it to that. Well, they need to hit. Boy, that thing is. It's a good thing he hit his own
I was going to say that had a lot of legs
for the hack. Well, the Dutch win that. Last rock wasn't exactly pretty, but he managed to rub on his own and stick around.
And that was the number 1 finishing team against the number 8 team who've come through.
So big surprise there, defeating Brewster.
Big smiles all around. Back to our game. Sweden are still struggling to set anything up. Nothing in the rings at this point. Fister's just going to try to draw around this. Sweet, line looks good. Sit it just top of the tee. Pan back and see again that guard's quite long, but they got it into the position they wanted. A little bit deeper. A little bit deeper.
Det är härifrån I sådana fall. Nej. Ja, det går nog härifrån också.
Sweden are going to try to pick this out. You can see the edge of the stone, and again that guard is high, so... Oh.
Så eller?
No, they're not. They're going to get on the board and then
try
to come back with the steal.
Yeah.
It's easier to steal 1 than a 2. So they've elected to take this point. So we already know what the first stones are going to be in the next end.
Kolla upp, han har den. Kolla upp. Ja, håll igång.
It's looking pretty good.
Ser lite hård ut.
Sweepers will just keep this clean. Nice draw.
Ja.
Right to the button. Auberg.
Skips want to do that. They want to practice that button draw because this one was an open draw, but the next one might be do or die with that same shot.
And with that, Auberg forced to take 1. The score is 3-2 for Pfister after 7 innings of play, and Pfister has not only the lead but also advantage of the last rock going into the 8th end. And we're here at the Champery Masters. And 2 of the games finished already, as we can see here. A bit of a surprise win there, Van Dorp over Brewster. And Edin making pretty short work of that young Swiss team Stähli, who were pretty happy to be in that quarterfinals. Edin, the number 1 seeded. The number 2 seeded team went out, didn't qualify. They were the teams that were tied, but their LSD was not good enough. That was Team Wallstadt, number 2 seeded in the tournament.
So these are 2 really important stones for Johannes Pats. He's really got to get these 2 steel stones in position. You're going to want 1 just over the hog line and 1 just off the rings in direct line. This one's coming deep, so they're going to have to play the second one as well. A little deeper than they would have wanted. Now here we go. We're going to see what they're made of with a tick shot here. This is one of the trickiest shots, but more and more part of the game. Able to pick this stone to the side. If people aren't quite sure what's happening here, they're not allowed to remove this stone from play, but they can move it to the side. Sweepers are standing back. I think this is a little bit wide and heavy. Yeah, it's going to go straight past. So if they'd hit that stone, they wanted to take it right over to the side so it isn't even a corner guard, but not touch the side wall, because the stone would be replaced if that's the case.
Okay.
New rules coming in for next season. The World Curling Federation has just voted on moving to a 5-stone rule, which means the first 5 stones out front can't be touched. From 4 at the moment.
I've seen a couple of games this weekend where that may have
come in handy.
Yeah.
That's really going to change the game.
It'll be interesting to see how the teams adjust to the tactics using that.
That was not a good shot.
No,
he needed that to come around and some separation, both sitting on the tee line, both sitting on the center line.
They look like easy pickings later on.
Yeah. The Swiss are going to ignore that and come into the rings, get themselves set up, and then clear away if they have to. Yeah, the 5 rock rule I've always been supportive of because it actually gives full advantage to the hammer team. At the moment, the non-hammer team get the first chance to hit, but now all advantage goes to the hammer team, so we should see hopefully higher scoring games, less blanks. People are so good at runbacks now that 1 extra guard out front will help with that.
I think the biggest difference might also be if you have to steal 2, that may... Well, steal will definitely be a little bit easier maybe. Or doable.
Back in the old days, with only 3 stones rule, you would churn into the first.
In Europe,
you'd say, well, back in Canada, I should say, we would watch curling on TV. It's a very popular TV sport there, and nobody would tune in for the first hour because when you clicked on, there was 5 zeros on the scoreboard. So we'd always wait till the back end of the game to tune in, and these more stones being held out front without being able to remove them is make the game more aggressive, more scoring.
The free guard zone rule, I think, internationally first came into effect in 1992. I believe Garmisch Worlds was the first year that was used, if I remember correctly.
Somebody asked me that the year at one of my junior players, and I looked it up, and now I've gone blank on it again.
I think it was 92, and Vic Peters was the Canadian representative, and Connie Lalberty was the Canadian representative. It was in Garmisch.
Somebody's working hard.
Not quite sure what that was.
I think best to just gloss over that and not speculate. Moving straight along to the next shot. I was laughing with Johannes earlier. He traditionally wears bright red socks. They're his lucky charm, but I said I didn't even recognize him because his socks weren't red.
Well, he's probably wishing he was wearing them now.
Greg Drummond for 5 years wore lucky red socks until they walked away on their own, and he had to trade up.
Another thing we really don't want to know about.
So they're going to try to clear up this front here.
If you marky,
He's got to be careful he doesn't drag that center stone straight back.
Oh.
Like that. Right. Coach's curse.
Mark Pfister has to do that on purpose. He's a little upset with that.
If you called that as a run back, you'd be as happy. I always say to my players, I'll give you €1 million if you can do that again.
Mark's a very animated player.
Passionate, I think we'll file that under. Okay, well, that's certainly... They're going, where did that come from?
What do we do now?
We weren't counting on this. We had a game plan. Now what are we going to do?
We're sitting far too good. We go and mess it up. I think they could use a little bit closer guard.
Yeah.
So maybe just one about halfway, maybe.
Well, they know the Swiss can play a 12-foot run back. They've just done it, so now they're going to have to do something to interfere with that being done on purpose.
Jag tycker också vi lägger den här.
In är också okej.
Down to Mount's last rock here. He has to steal. It's a freeze on.
Beautiful control shot. He just.
Yeah, but Drummond's got a full 4 foot to draw to take a win in that game.
It's been a nice close game. Sitting 3-3. Last stone coming now, you can see just on the next sheet. Ross Patterson throws last stones for that team. Greg is the skip, but plays vice stones. There was a lot of chatter about there's a lot of chatter about that at the beginning of the season, but it's working really, really well for them.
Done okay.
Yeah.
Bra fart. Nästan ner mot. Bra fart. Vänta, vänta. Ganska långt ut. Vänta då.
More and more you see somebody else throwing the last stones, free the skip up to focus purely on the strategy and tactics of the game without the pressure of those last 2 stones. Some teams thrive on it, other teams you get the skip playing the lead stones and then heading for the house and calling the rest of the end. That's extra pressure because if the lead stones aren't in the right place, you've got nobody to look to but yourself.
Well, Patterson put that right on the button, so definitely had no problem with the pressure in that shot. So that means Drummond's through to the semi-final.
So does that work out that they play Van Dorp? No, is that how that pairing works up, I think?
Drummond and Van Dorp, and Edine will play the winner of the game we're covering here.
Well, this wasn't part of the Swiss battle plan, to be looking down at 3 stones sitting on top of the 4 foot.
Well, Markey gets to play that raised takeout again and see if he can improve on it. He's not going to take out his own anyways. He just opens it up.
A little bit tight this time. Sent that over the top of the pack.
The Swiss kind of dug themselves a hole here.
The most dreaded words in all of curling is the same again, because that's really hard to do. So he played one by accident, and then when he was asked to play it, he was a little bit offline.
Red is down 1. Yellow has the hammer, but Mark's probably ordering the helicopter right now. The coach's drone might come in.
It might do.
Could drop it in from above.
Rent, rent. Håll rent.
Bara håll rent alltså.
He's got no yellow rocks or nothing to work out front with or anything.
And all of those stones are top tee. No way around behind. You got to go through them. You can't go around them.
Younger brother Enrico being asked to save the team here.
It's a good attempt.
Leaves his own rock out there, but
this is just such a new thing in the game where these teams are so confident at these long run backs. Go back a couple of years and they would be playing more of an angle to clear the front, but now it's one of the first things they look at is this run back. Have a look at the angle. Something that we practice a lot. It's become a big part of the ladies game as well, and the junior ladies game. Swiss were one of the leaders in that. The junior girls took on the game very aggressively and learned to play these big hits.
Accuracy being more important than speed.
Yeah. The ice is so fast now that you just need to make sure you're on line to pop it out the back.
Bra linje, bra linje, bra linje. Wow! Köra.
So
Bra linje, bra linje, bra linje.
This is really important where they get the
Bara stanna,
positioning
tror jag.
on this.
Ja, bara stanna.
another problem that's going to be occurring here is
Rent,
all
rent,
three
rent,
sheets
rent,
have
rent,
completed
rent,
now.
rent.
There's only one sheet in play. That may change the draw weight a little bit, so I think they're going to have to be aware of that. As the ice cools down very quickly here without all that activity on it, they might tighten it up a bit.
Gut, ist nicht so wichtig. Wichtig ist, dass der passiert.
So that card wasn't very good, I don't think.
No, there wasn't in a very good position.
No, it's left it way too
Ja,
long.
Trick musst du
He's-
auf den, dass der verrutscht.
There is a tricky draw down the left-hand side, but what he's trying to do is tidy this right-hand side up because it's more open, gives them more.
Well, you might
more
be able
space
to
to
get
draw.
get in here and get into shot position. That's Rico Pfister.
Ja. Ja, 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 ja.
It's just a very nice controlled weight coming down here.
That's got to curl a bit.
Yeah, the sweepers are stepping back. They're waiting for it to move.
That's just going to hit and roll away. If it hits at all, well,
Big miss.
well, the Swiss are just kind of
Big
falling apart
miss.
in this end.
Just shows you that long accidental run back and now a miss here. Sweden have really been up against it all game and now big chance here. 4 stones left to come.
That's terrible.
That was exactly the same shot that put them out of Basel 2 weeks ago against Van Dorp. They had a hit to play at that exact weight
Han kommer förmodligen
and
spela
he
den
missed
så.
it by exactly the same distance.
Men ligga
Handed
här
the
då.
steal to Van Dorp and they were out and Van Dorp went through to the playoffs.
Ja, jag gillar den.
Alltså då kommer vi runt och knackar den i alla fall.
Ja, jag gillar den.
Well, certainly
Inte så på något,
Ja,
lite längre ut.
Malbergs has an opportunity to put that guard in a far better
Inte får in
position
den
now.
där och röra om liksom.
Kantbo nästan.
Lite, nej, mindre. Säkert. Ja, vi behöver liksom... Jag
Yellow-
hade så här
Yellow
mycket ut på blott
Yellow
på din.
has the hammer,
Så mitt blott hade jag på din typ.
and
Ja,
What the Sweden are going to do is try to spread
Då
these
ska vi ha
guards
mer,
out
eller?
to push
jag tror ju min kommer gå
the
snett
Swiss
på
draw
slutet ändå
stone
alltså.
if they have to draw
men mina
it
kör
out
över.
as far as they can. Cut the scoring
Nej.
zone down to the smallest margin.
Det gjorde jag inte.
Malberg needs to steal one to tie.
Team Medina are all out of the changing room and sitting by the side, watching these last 4 stones come down, deciding who they'll play
Johannes
against.
gör det. Jag tror det är bra. Ja, bra. Räcker. Räcker Johannes, räcker. Ja, bra linje. Bra linje. Rent.
Bara sitta.
Ja, risk över curve. Bara sitta. Ja, bara sitta. Bara sitta.
Sitta.
Ja, bra Reven.
Well,
Again, I think that's a little bit tight.
that's
They
too
would-
long. I think Mark can get in here now.
Yeah, I think they would have wanted that a little bit deeper and a little bit wider.
Back klein, komt zo hier graad terug. Oder?
As you say, Armin, the conditions change quickly when the arena empties out,
Ja, aber das
so that
ist
might have just been a little bit slower than they were
Der soll
thinking.
tappen, hier bleiben liegen.
Da muss auch da muss auch zum 4 Fuß sein.
So.
Well, he knows what a stone at that weight is going to do now, down that exact same shot. So there'll be a little adjustment.
I think Tommy's got a couple of hairs less again.
He does, he's looking down. It's little shake of the head. Well, I think that pretty much says it all. Something tells me that was the last fresh.
That was nasty from our camera crew there.
Ich muss schauen, es ist knapp da, wenn du vorbei bist, komme ich von vorne, gell?
Ja.
I'm sure somebody will point that out to Tommy later on YouTube.
Mark Pfister, big shot here for him.
He knows what he needs to do now. Take a little bit of weight. Is that the same ice they gave last time? Is he throwing a little bit less at this?
I think he's just coming down with 4 foot, back 4 foot.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Vack. 9. Var nå!
This is Got a swing.
Vart nu Rico.
Sweepers are stemming back. They're waiting for it to move.
Now it's going. It's a little
Here
late
it
though.
comes now. Roll open. Leaves
That
Sweden
just
still
makes
shot.
it even worse.
Yep. It's going to hit and roll here and try to lock up this button, leave no scoring options. Ideally, they want to sit right on top of that red one.
That's that ice cooling down. It straightens it up a bit too. That'll happen.
Ja, i sådana fall
As
ska
the
vi
ice cools down, it'll,
Men jag känner att
and that may be just the difference
den här
there.
har han ju med halvträff liksom. Den sitter ju där. Ja, det är sant. Sätter vi in den här
They're
så
talking
vinner vi.
about whether they, depending on how they hit this, they roll on
Ja, bara
top.
här.
If they
Kika hit,
accidentally
så-
bump it, they're going to leave their stone on the button.
Mark may not even have a shot with his last one.
Det är inte så jävla mycket att säga om det.
If
Vad
they
vi
can
kan
get the roll and lock
Exakt,
this
deras
right
har
on
gått
top of
även
the
den här
button,
gick
there's no way in. There's
Alltså i
no
värsta
way
fall
to
gör den här.
shoulder
Så ingen skandal.
the
Han får
stone and
en
move
skott
them
igen.
both back. So
Tror du?
they're going to
Jag tror
they're taking
jag tror
pretty
vi ska vara
tight
god
ice.
för
They're
den i
going
alla
to
fall.
throw
Så
big
plus
weight
där.
at this. I think they don't want the risk of it overcurling.
Det är plussar, det är bäst vikt. Ja, 3/4.
Well, this will be a big turnaround if Sweden manages to walk away with this win because
Plus
they've been on the back foot for 7 ends.
Ja,
But I'll tell you, 1 or 2 shots
3/4.
turn the luck, especially in this last end. We would have expected front guards and being peeled and front guards and being peeled, and it's just not worked out that way with that one shot.
Ja!
So here it comes.
Ja! Ja! Wow! Wow!
Sweepers will be on top of this to try to get the perfect line.
Micken! Gå! Gå! Gå!
We may have just given Fister an out.
Yeah, he's given them enough to come around, control weight. That's awfully tight on the pin. This is going to be a tough shot.
Prata nu nära den där.
I don't know if he can roll that and get shot out of this because
Well,
I think he's going to sit high on the
He'll be
pin.
I think with the situation the way it was, he'll be happy if he gets an extra end.
Yeah, I think that's going to be their best option now. That was so close. Another foot roll and that would have been probably game over.
So
Just a
when
tiny
he-
bit wide.
Fister gets down to this and cuts him down to 1. He's got to be pretty happy that he can get into an extra.
He's got to be careful with this that he doesn't overthrow it and just push them over for the game or come tight and catch a guard. I think he's taken enough ice that he's going to throw
I
enough
think
weight
he's
at that
got
he's
enough
going to be
ice.
clear of the
It's a little-
guard.
little less than what he had.
But you don't want this to dig in and over curl because even with weight you can swing across pretty quickly and rob on a top guard.
Mark Fister, last rock here in the 8th, looking at 3 Swedish counters, all covered. Needs to get in there to...
Big danger here is overthrowing it, hitting on the outside and leaving
Stå!
those 2 swings. Here it comes now. Here it comes now. What was I saying about overcurling and catching the top guard?
Wow.
Been there, done that.
Steal of 3 for the Swedes, and they come back in the last 2 ends to take control and win this game. And they are through to the semi-finals.
So that'll be a Sweden-Sweden matchup.
Sweden in that semi-final, and we'll have Van Dorp, then the Dutch playing against Drummond from Scotland. Hope you enjoyed this coverage. Thanks a lot.
You're very
Brad,
welcome. A
appreciate
pleasure to
your
be
time.
here again.
And we will be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning here with the Champery Masters World Curling Tour coverage. And we hope to have and be able to invite you back. It's been a great game here. Hope you enjoyed that, and we wish everybody a good evening or a good day wherever you are. And come back tomorrow. Have a good night.